Hi, and welcome to the second week of our Advent study. Last week we talked about the hope of Christmas. Today we're talking about the peace of Christmas. Let me ask you a question. Which stresses you out more? The idea of the war in Ukraine and wars across the world, or to watch your grandkids arguing over a toy? We should be stressed out about the greater evil, about the loss of life, the death, the horrible carnage that occurs in a war. But somehow, a fight between kids seems to weigh more heavily on us. It's something we want to take care of right then. We want to create peace in our own homes. I'm really enjoying this book. It's called Advent, A Weary World Rejoices. I strongly recommend it. I'm going to share some of the ideas presented in here with you and then follow up with a couple more questions. One of the ideas on page 1 says, in the beginning there was peace. Peace wasn't equated with stillness, but with nearness to God. God walked with his people in the garden in the cool of the day, and it was just as it was meant to be. A little later on it says, the Greek word translated as has sinned in Romans 3:23 is often used to describe an archer who misses the target, to miss the mark. When we sin, we miss the mark of God's perfect peace. And it's something we seem to struggle to get back to. It's a target we aim for that we seldom hit. It's a little ironic that at this time of the Christian calendar, peace seems to be in such short supply. We're so busy working and worrying, the hustle and bustle of shopping and travel and parking and the weather and the uncertainty of what should I get for my friends and my family. It can be a bit overwhelming. But the book goes on to talk about, in the Old Testament, God's people made peace offerings, also known as fellowship offerings. A peace offering wasn't a required sacrifice. It was a voluntary expression of gratitude for God's intervention and deliverance. Unlike a sin offering, a peace offering wasn't completely consumed by the fire. Instead, the person offering the sacrifice, along with his family and friends, shared a meal and ate the meat together. A sacrifice that brings people together. What a wonderful thought that is. What a wonderful plan that is for us. Another question that the book raises is, what's the difference between peace with God and peace in God? It goes on to say that if you have peace with God, it means you're not working against his plans, that you are working and living in harmony with his purposes for your life and his world. Peace in God means that you are dwelling in him and he is dwelling in you, that he is abiding with you through your Christian growth, through your study of scripture, through your prayers, through your fellowship with fellow Christians, that God is there and God is drawing you toward himself. Another part of the book goes on and it asks, how does prayer give you peace? We know that prayer is an essential part of our growth as a Christian, but exactly how does prayer give you peace? I think, personally, prayer brings peace because it helps us to realize, first of all, that we're not in control. This is not our job, our responsibility to run the world. There's a saying, not my circus, not my monkeys, which means you don't have to worry about everything that's going on in the world around you. You don't have to solve every problem. The one who can is the one that you're talking to. Prayer comes with peace. Just a little later on in the book, it's talking about some of the characters in the Christmas story, specifically Zechariah and Mary and Joseph. Zechariah was the father of Elizabeth, and they were the parents of John the Baptist. And Zechariah is struck dumb by the angel, but when the angel first appears, his first words are, Do not be afraid. And the angels repeat these same ideas when they appear to Joseph in a dream, to Mary in person, not to be afraid. And of course, when the angel appears in Bethlehem with the heavenly host, they cry out, "Peace on earth, goodwill toward men." It's an amazing part of the Christmas story. This chapter concludes with the idea of Emmanuel, God with us. And it is an overpowering thought when we realize that God sent his Son to dwell among us, to be one of us, to lead us, to guide us, to show us the way toward his eternal peace. My hope for you this Advent is that you find your way to his peace, that you find a magnificent way to celebrate with family and friends, and that your prayer life draws you closer to him. Thanks and Merry Christmas.